Okay, part two of involving the viewer, and we are in um, something called personal interaction, and you can't get more personal than wearing something around your neck. You could even personalize it a little bit more by putting photographs on your neck of old relatives, your family, your friends, who knows, Olympic athletes, whoever it might be, whatever it means something to you. This is also a real personalized piece of jewelry, which is a charm bracelet. So you might have your first dog, your trip overseas, the first dollar you ever made, your 50th wedding anniversary, whatever it may be, but also a very personal kind of trip down memory lane on your wrist. This is another interesting piece of, I won't call it jewelry so much, but it's kind of a shoulder piece, almost like armor in a way. It doesn't look very comfortable. This is made by Alexander Calder for his wife here. I think that you would be so aware that you were wearing it all the time that that would be some kind of real personal involvement with that. Plus, knowing that somebody made it for you is pretty cool. Okay, another thing we're going to look at is the whole concept of the unexpected materials or objects put together. In this case, a kind of a 90-degree metal handle that is bolted into an old book on the constellations. What does it mean? I don't know. That's something for you to kind of get involved with. Also, if you were on the battlefield and this helmet came towards you with on a horse. So back to that. Okay, so you're going towards your enemy and this helmeted person comes along, and it's sort of a gnarly looking boar with some ram's horns. Yeah, kind of unexpected. Even in the tradition of Japanese kind of geisha hairdos, this is a pretty outrageous one, kind of a modern take on real flowers, but it's sort of like you're in the memorial garden on top of her head. This is a classic by Merritt Oppenheim. It's called Object. Breakfast with fur or something like that. So you've got a teacup and a saucer and a teaspoon, but they're covered with, it looks like deer fur. So you've got an everyday object that makes you look at it a little bit differently. And these high-end runway shows of fashion design, this is by Alexander McQueen, their whole MO is to just get crazy and create news. This is some kind of a gown that looks like probably synthetic ostrich feathers or something like that. Kind of crazed. Then there's the whole aspect, something else that can involve the viewer is them trying to figure out what your piece is, and that's where your title tags come in, the labels that go next to your piece of work. Usually has the title, the media, the size, the date it was made, and the name of the artist. And in this case, these two red dots mean that that artist sold two pieces right there. But oftentimes, if you can't really figure out what's going on there, sometimes a title will give you a real hint and lead you on to maybe what the artist was thinking about. Also in that same vein, there are artist statements, and they can be something about the artist. They can be something about the work, what inspired them, why they make what they do, what the whole series may be about. And or it could just be some sort of a historical blurb on the artist, which would give you some insight to maybe what the pieces are about or why the artist makes them. So that's kind of the end of that lecture, but I want to go back to this piece, this wrapped piece that sort of changes it, it takes it out of its whole reality, mundane reality that we know. And let's have an introduction to your next project, which is a wrapped project. So what I wanted to do is, before you look at the assignment, is to take you through a little journey of what different cultures and artists have done in this area of wrapping. In this case, this is a real mummy from Egypt. I want you to see how beautifully done, what incredible craftsmanship, not necessarily an artist, but these artisans that wrapped this body of an Egyptian ruler, probably. It's usually a linen fabric, but look at this, how beautiful this is done. This actually, now that I look at it, it looks like something from the gift store. But you can see another version of wrapping, a little bit less artful, a little bit more ghoulish here. Also in Egypt, they wrapped animals to take on to the next world with them. In this case, we've got a couple of cats, this one looking a little more realistic, this one a little bit more of a caricature. But look again at the incredible craftsmanship of the wrapping. These two, more cats, wrapped, but then with some kind of a painted base over that linen, and then some other drawing on top of that, kind of a neat take on it. I threw these in. This is a baby alligator, crocodile. This is a little duckling back there. Also in Africa, in the country of Mali, they're amongst the Bamana people. They have something called boli, which are little power fetishes wrapped. I'm not exactly sure, but pretty cool looking things. And then coated with, I don't know, some sort of a resinous material or something. Also very neat. A more contemporary artist, although he and his wife have passed, Christo, went around the world. They'd get these incredible grants to go into different places, different countries, and wrap objects. In this case, it is a line of trees. And so how does that make you feel about those trees? What do you notice? Do you notice something more about the real tree underneath? Or what does it bring to the table having these things be wrapped? Here's the Pont Neuf in France. Looks complete. It just changes the whole thing completely. And this is the Reichstag in Berlin. There's like two really important buildings in Berlin, and this is one of them that Christo and his wife wrapped. Here's some textile artists got together and created these kind of wrapped cape, strange costumes. In Japan, there is an art, well, they've taken wrapping to a higher art anyway, but these are called botari. They are soft wrappings over other soft items. During the Depression in our country, this was sort of the iconic picture of the hobo riding the rails with his hobo stick and his bindle or hobo sack there. Here's another one. Does it change it that it's put into, like a handkerchief? Does that change the meaning of it? What the material is? This is work done by someone who has never considered themselves an artist, just a woman who has collected debris along the street. I don't know if she was homeless, but then she wrapped them with the objects with yarn and rope and string and other things like that. And they were such intriguing artifacts of what we throw away and then reassemble that here she is in a gallery. This is an item from an auction, an old payphone. I don't know if you guys remember that. Wrapped, officially bound, and it just makes sort of a neat little artifact. This is one that's on your Canvas page, an iron wrapped in paper. And here's an artist, Julia Cousins, who has made her art form wrapped. We have no idea really what's underneath there, but just the beautiful way she has bound this piece. So let's see what you guys can come up with on your project. So that kind of wraps that up for the second part of the lecture involving the viewer and some previews of your wrapped project. So good luck.